Hey dudes, welcome back. We're going to be taking a quick look at this video here, Phoenician and Tartarian architecture in London. Now, I'm from a major city in the UK myself. I come from Liverpool, shout out. And the city is full of architecture that when you're walking around, your eyebrows are constantly raising because it sticks out like a sore thumb. Obviously, Liverpool was known as the second city of the empire for a period of time during the time of when Liverpool's docks and ports were so important. You had the slave trade, the cotton trade, spices, all kinds coming in through Liverpool. But I'd be interested to have a look at this architecture in London and see what sticks out. So let's get right into it. So that straight away there, sorry to stop the video so early, this would be the Phoenician goddess Europa, and as you can see here, it says Europa there. And also if you look on the arches, you can see swastikas with flowers, some kind of flower going on there. Don't think it's a fleur-de-lis or anything like that, but quite clearly swastikas in the architecture, and some spirals and roses further inside. But yeah, let's continue. Now I will say, like I say, I come from Liverpool, which is in the UK, so we have a couple of fountains around our town centre and stuff like that, and I'm always intrigued by the symbology. Obviously I don't really understand what it means because no one's ever taught me what it means, but it's very interesting for people in any major city in the world really. Keep your eyes out for these old fountains, and next time you go past them and see one, just take your time, have a little look. They're quite detailed in symbology, obviously. Queen Victoria, as we know, was Germanic. Was part of a Germanic household, which was the House of Hanover. A boat with a fascia, or a reef. That Minerva. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear me. I thought that was Minerva, the goddess of war previously, but as you can see, this is Buckingham Palace, and it's this kind of design here. It's this kind of stuff that you see represented all over the place on these older buildings, and I just love to know what they actually mean. So if anybody knows what the symbology means, please feel free to share. And obviously you've got, looks like a unicorn with the lion over there. Who knows, maybe once upon a time these were all wireless technologies, these lights, who knows. Wow. Sorry, I'll just stop on this one. This is fascinating to me because I came across an interview, a documentary several years ago, 4 years ago, and it was about our current Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, and how he had family links to journalists back in Turkey and things like that. And he actually went and visited Istanbul, I believe it was, and there was a camera crew filming him, and it was just a brief, like 2 or 3 seconds that you seen a building in the background, and the building was red, like red brick with white brick, and I was like, no way, I've seen buildings like that in Liverpool. So it got me thinking to myself, why would there be the same architecture in Istanbul or ancient Constantinople, and we've got similar buildings in Britain and across the British Empire? And I haven't got the answers for that, but it's very interesting that if you go to somewhere like Istanbul now, go onto Google Maps and start walking around the street view, you will see buildings like this, almost identical to that. That's fascinating to me, that, because that's actually an image I come across on the end of one of my last videos. Can't for the love of me think which one it is right now. It might have been the Tartarian one. And there was an image like that. I thought it was maybe a representation of the Commonwealth, because of the nature of and the timing in the video. So I'd be interested to know actually if that is actually a symbol of the Commonwealth, with this being in London. I'm not too sure what it is. Maybe it's like a representation of the star of Venus. Could be the sun. Could be anything, as far as I'm aware of. So if anyone else, that's another one, let me know. So I just go back a touch. You see these spires as well. Now, when you go to places like, what's that place in Cambodia? Not Gunung Padang. There's a Angkor Wat in Cambodia. You notice the shape of their giant towers, etc. Well, this is something I've noticed when I was younger. We have these on all the churches in England. Not all churches, but a lot of churches. And then if you notice, there's always like smaller ones like this up here near the top. Now, about 2-3 years ago, I went to Roslin Chapel, which is up in Scotland, which is the famous place of Darren Brown's novel, The Da Vinci Code. And when I went there, I noticed that these towers were very prominent, situated almost exactly like this. And there's people talking like how the church is built based on other temples of the past and things like this. But if anybody wants to go and check out an old church that's full of all kinds of symbology and architecture like this, go to Roslin Chapel. It was worth the admission fee, and it was a good day out. I've noticed that there's different types. You see like the square one here, then you have the more knobbly one up at the top, and then you have these like almost pyramid type ones, the larger ones. Very interesting. Don't know whether they're like some kind of toning fork or something like that. It's always little things like that that interest me as well. You know, obviously these rose granite columns with the floral patterns on the top. Obviously, we've seen that over and over and over again. But it's when you see like little unique items like this, it always catches my eye because someone took time to cut all these little pieces, all these, get all the colours, design it, and then put it there. So there's there's a lot of energy and effort gone into that. What does it mean? I don't know. But somebody wanted to get some kind of symbology and some kind of message on there. Just it's a shame that for all these monuments and all this architecture and design and artwork, we don't know what it means. It's not like you can go onto Google, type in, and it gives you the answer. Trust me, I've tried. Like nature scenes. That's an interesting creature because that's almost like, is that a griffin? Slight serpent with wings? I'd go with that, that's a griffin myself. Dragon maybe? Obviously the famous acorn, we all know the imagery from Sumer and things like that with the bag and the acorn. The acorn is absolutely everywhere. See, now we have the exact same light as this in Liverpool with like a dolphin type thing on the bottom going up to a light. Obviously not as finely detailed as that with a crown on the top, but we definitely have these lights in and around Liverpool. And I always wondered to myself, were the wireless lights? You see them on entrances to parks around older governmental or public buildings. That's obviously the UK House of Parliament with Westminster Abbey and all that for people who didn't know. So that's what I was saying before about like your fascias and your reefs. I'm not too sure what they actually, when you tie all this together, like what does that actually mean? Somebody spent a lot of time doing that, and it's high up on a building. It's near the roof, as you can tell. So it wasn't there for everybody to fully look at and ponder and make the mind up on it. Somebody's put this up there with intent. But what is the intent?
Where am I? What is this place?
That like Athena or something? The owl above her head. I say, why would you put that there? I mean, she sees everything, I get that, but See, that's the thing as well. In somewhere like London, you know, the city itself is ancient. Like that's the actual city itself is ancient, but the area of London has been occupied for thousands of years, and it's just I used to work there. Well, I used to work on Virgin trains, and used to get the train to and from Houston, from Liverpool. Now, when I'd go down there, I'd get some time off in between shifts and stuff like that, so I'd take a walk around London, and I've been there a couple of times anyway, and it's the layering of the city. I'm one of them people. I can kind of get lost in my own thoughts walking around, taking insights and things like that. And you really can get lost in London just by looking at the buildings and following, and just losing track of time and your orientation, because there's that many different cultural layers and architectural layers within the city. It's say you can get lost. You can spend days there just walking around looking at buildings.
Where am I? What is this place?
See, that's a kind of common building as well. Can I just touch on as well, though? There's the red brick buildings with the white stones. I say you see this architecture everywhere. Like I say, go to Istanbul and you'll see it there. But this kind of building here, what you'll find is there's another one next to it there with this white stone, this limestone cladding that they put on the outside. You'll actually find these are all brick buildings. Now, that's not like a cop out. That's not like, oh, they couldn't afford to do it. It's just that was the style. Now, I've seen so many buildings that I thought were real solid limestone or sandstone, and then I've actually got to a bit more intimate with the building. Intimate. Now, I've been like in the basement or around the back or certain areas and things like that, and you find out that they are all brick buildings with cladding on the outside. So it's fascinating, and then when you see the images of buildings that tend to go underground, whether there was a mud flood or not, that's not my job to say, but when you do see lower levels of ground being removed from a building and you can see that there's still doors, windows and all that underground, you tend to find a lot of them are brick, and then as you get up to this ground level or further up, that's when all the cladding gets put on top with all the symbology all over it, draped all over it. So it's quite fascinating really whether the buildings were originally just brick. SWAT stickers again on that one. Right, looks like that's the end of the video there, to be fair. Like I say, London it's a city that's stacked. There's layers upon layers of architecture and historical buildings. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're all Tartarian and Phoenician buildings, but I just wanted to put that out there to show people like the symbology is everywhere. You know, the architecture, the carvings, the building, the location of the buildings, all these things. There was decisions taken for all these things, and like you say, it's not so easy to go out and find the answers as to why a building is adorned in certain symbology, like we've seen SWAT stickers and things like that there. That's pre Second World War. That's pre Adolf Hitler. So why have we got SWAT stickers on buildings in the UK? Who knows? Thanks for stopping by, guys. Anyway, hope you have a nice day. Peace.